Well, folks, it's that time again to call out Spectrum News New York 1. And let me just make sure my mic is here so you can hear me, because that's much better. Okay. So, what's going on, you may be wondering? Well, we got a major breaking news story tonight. A former mayor of New York City was assaulted in Staten Island. And we're going to talk about Rudy Giuliani, the 107th mayor of New York City, who was assaulted and is one of the only three former mayors of New York City currently alive. So I'm not seeing anything here. Let's check the headlines, because this should be a major breaking news story on Channel 1's website, but apparently they are talking about Pride Fest. And I know I have friends who are gay and lesbian, and it's good that they were able to celebrate today, but the fact that, again, we have a former mayor of New York City who was assaulted today in Staten Island, I mean, that should be the lead story. So this is what the Daily News has on their website. So we're going to listen to an audio article. In fact, hang on here. See what I mean? I hate that I have to do this. I hate that I have to zoom out just to show you the article, the headlining article. So I had to literally zoom out so at least you can see it. So here's what it says. Former Mayor Rudy Giuliani heckled, slapped on back while campaigning with his son Andrew for governor on Staten Island. So I'll show you where this ShopRite is, because this ShopRite hits way too close to home for me, as this ShopRite is right by where my relatives in Arden Heights lived. So without further ado, let me zoom in so at least you can read this, because I know there's going to be people on a smartphone or a tablet wondering, oh, why can't I read this? Oh, Andy's randomness made the text too small. Well, trust me, I'm fixing that right now. So let me mute my mic so we can at least read along with the audio article.
Rudy Giuliani was heckled and slapped on the back in a Staten Island grocery store Sunday while campaigning with his son ahead of Tuesday's gubernatorial primaries, police sources said. The former mayor, who has been traveling across the state to help promote his son to voters ahead of the GOP primary, accompanied Andrew Giuliani, 36, through the five-borough Sunday, the sources said. At a stop at a ShopRite location in the Charleston section of Staten Island, sources said a 39-year-old employee approached Giuliani from behind, slapped him on the back and said, "What's up, scumbag?" Giuliani was not injured and the employee was taken into custody at the store, cops said.
So there you go. I mean, Channel 1 should have this on their website.
67, Daddy, grandson, 8.
I do apologize about that. So we are going to get to that story in Brooklyn, because I'm sure the Brooklyn paper has something on it. But again, this is what I mean. Channel 1 should have this on their article. Have an article on their homepage. But no, we're not going to put that on the homepage tonight. All right? You know what their agenda is at Channel 1. And, let's say if Pat Kiernan, which, by the way, I was watching the third Spider-Man film this weekend, and I gotta tell you, he gave a good convincing effort in that, anchoring the fake Spider-Man story for the movie. But if Pat Kiernan somehow in real life is so focused on Roe versus Wade, and he's so focused on, they had their Pride Parade yesterday. They're so happy they haven't been able to celebrate in 3 years. Shows you how corrupt the media is. The fact that you are not going to bring this up the day before the gubernatorial primary on Tuesday. And, I am going to be giving some remarks regarding the results, hopefully Tuesday evening, or I'll organize a brief press statement at Osnum Hall Wednesday. But, the fact that, again, not on the homepage just shows their true colors at Channel 1. So I'm going to show you where the ShopRite is. And I know exactly where this is. Yep, this is a shopping center that I know very, very well. All right. This is the Charleston Shopping Center. So I know exactly where this is. Yep. Do a street view of it. So this is it. Right around here, right? This is it. Yeah, right here. This is where the ShopRite is. So, trust me, my relatives in Staten Island go to this location a lot. And as soon as I heard about this, as soon as I was made aware of it tonight, because I got a notification on my phone, as soon as I heard about this, I had to tell my relatives who live in Arden Heights because they don't like going to Key Food. They tell me we don't go to the Key Food on Arden. We always go to Veterans Road ShopRite. They told me this numerous times. So the fact that this happened in a place where my relatives in Staten Island go to all the time, this hit too close to home for me today. This really did. I am deeply offended that this could happen. Alright? Not only did somebody get assaulted, the fact that, again, a former mayor of New York City was assaulted tonight just shows the complacency that Channel 1 has. And I will mention that my relatives do have Spectrum, and they've been watching my videos. And even before I started calling out Channel 1, they told me, thank goodness we don't watch New York 1. Because they know the media bias that's going on in Staten Island. This is the proof right here. And I know, again, I don't talk about Staten Island as much, because the advance charges a subscription fee. But, this is what I mean when it comes to being called the Forgotten Borough. And I feel like Queens is getting forgotten. So we're going to talk about the stories that are being ignored in Queens. And we're also going to talk about what happened in Brooklyn. We had multiple shootings reported this weekend. Multiple people were run over by a car. We had a fire in a bike store today, for crying out loud. The many stories that Channel 1 is putting off. So we're going to start talking about them right now until I am done, because we have a bunch to get into tonight. So, I decided we're going to get to the stories in Brooklyn first because, trust me, Channel 1 has forgotten about you too. So it sounds like, guess what? You're next when it comes to being ignored. So, there we go again. The fact that you know what's going on. We all know what's going on here. We all know how media bias works. So let's get to this first story in Brooklyn, because I at least have 3 we gotta read. So this is one of the first of the 3. So here we go. Brownsville. Another area that I care about because that's where my best friend from high school used to live before he went to the Bronx a couple of years ago. Now, I don't know where he is in the Bronx, but I'm just going to say I'm still glad that he got out of Brownsville when he did. So here we go. The incident occurred on Legion Street near Pitkin Avenue in Scion Triangle Park. A cop was shot in the arm Thursday afternoon. This was, yes, the 23rd. So here, that's the right date. I'm just making sure, because I really should have used Windows 10 to tell me the date. But that was a fail right there. So here we go. Continuing on, this happened at 4:30 p.m. And I will mention that this was a neighborhood coordinating officer that was shot. Right? So here we go. A marked car department car, Pitkin Avenue. Right? So a marked department car was driving. Gunshots rang out. The bullets went through the driver's side door of the cruiser and leaving the officer driven with a bullet wound in the arm. And of course, the suspect got away. last seen on Legion Street. He was in a nearby courtyard. A 9mm handgun, also on Legion Street, was found. The neighborhood coordinating officer was taken to Kings County Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The good news is, according to NYPD Police Commissioner Keechant Sewell, the NCO is going to be okay. And the reason why we know this is a neighborhood coordinating officer, Channel 7 actually brought that up on the air on Thursday, hours before we found out the Supreme Court was going to overturn Roe versus Wade. And look at this. 7th cop this year on the line of duty, NYPD officer, shot this year on the line of duty. Alright. Of course, this happened the same day the U.S. Supreme Court struck down the concealed carry laws. So we're not going to get into that because, trust me, we have more bigger things to talk about tonight than what the Supreme Court's antics are up to. Alright? And look at this. I'll just mention. We already got a preview of tomorrow's AM New York. We already know that Schleps Media, the company that distributes the Brooklyn paper, Bronx Times, Queens Courier, and AM New York, have endorsed Tom Suozzi. So, that's a very important thing right there. So let's read this one. Shootings in Brooklyn. Thankfully, Channel 7 did bring this up tonight. So here we go. 3 shootings happened in Brooklyn Friday night and Saturday. 2 homicides confirmed. 16-year-old boy and a 43-year-old man dead. The teenager was shot outside of PS 284 last night. 3:17 in the morning. So I'm just basically summarizing everything. I don't want to read the whole article. That's how sick to my stomach I am. That the media is not covering this. Here we go. Friday evening. 43-year-old man killed outside an apartment in Crown Heights. I thought there was a third shooting. Well, I guess, let's see. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, but you get the idea. And then look at this. Crashes in Brooklyn. 34-year-old and a young boy. Critical condition. Look at this. Car crash involving a pedestrian in Sheepshead Bay. 41-year-old woman was lying in the roadway with trauma. A black Genesis SUV was slowly traveling. The passenger side door opened. The woman standing outside of the vehicle. The woman and the car's driver, 34-year-old Miroslav Akuma, were engaged in a dispute. The woman hung onto the door to attempt to prevent Akuma from driving away. So, look at this. The car pinned her in Avenue X. So, look at that. I mean, that's just a... I think this might have been fatal. Let me go on the police and fire section. I'm just going to take a look to see if we have an updated article on what happened. Yeah, I think this was the update. Let's see, because I know the mayor had a press conference last night, because I did hear something about it on Channel 4. If I am correct. So, let's see. Oh, yeah, this is it right here. This is the one I was looking for. So, here's what happened if I can find it. Bedford-Stuyvesant collision. So this happened in Bed-Stuy. Ralph Avenue and 2 bicyclists were struck. A grandmother and an 8-year-old boy was struck by a vehicle. The grandmother passed away of her injuries. 8-year-old was taken to Maimonides in critical condition. So you tell me how Channel 1 is ignoring this. It just shows the proof of the blatancy. And then look what happened. Another crime in my neighborhood. In Fresh Meadows. I'm telling you, Fresh Meadows is in very bad shape these days. So let's read this one. Police from the 107 precinct are looking for at least 2 men who allegedly broke into a home and made off with personal property and thousands of dollars in cash earlier this month on Thursday, June 9th. The suspects targeted a resident in the vicinity of the intersection of 194th Street and Union Turnpike near the northwest corner of Cunningham Park. Yep, I know exactly where this is. The alleged burglars forcibly entered the location by breaking a rear door and proceeded to remove handbags, jewelry, shoes, and approximately $3,500 in cash before running in an unknown direction. Thankfully, the good news is no injuries were reported. Crime Stoppers released surveillance images. One was wearing eyeglasses, a white baseball cap, white long-sleeve shirt, light-colored trousers, and black gloves. The second suspect was not wearing gloves, but he wore a black baseball cap, sunglasses, a white surgical mask, and a white long-sleeve dress shirt with dark pants and dark sneakers. So, yeah, the police have a pretty good idea who they're looking for, especially this guy right here. So, there you go. I mean, let me reread this for a second. Oh, see what I mean? That's the problem. You know, that's why you gotta keep your doors locked, especially in your backyards. Because a lot of people in Fresh Meadows do have backyards, including we do. We have it secured. So this is the example. So now we're gonna get into a couple fatal accidents that have involved transportation issues. So I guess what we'll do, yeah, we'll read this one first because I think this is the more urgent one, since this is going to be talked about at the MTA New York City Transit Committee meeting tomorrow, which I will discuss this with Richard Davy, of course, because I feel that is my obligation at Passengers United to at least talk to him about this stuff. So let's read this. This explains why I saw 6 officers from Transit District 20 on Monday. This explains why they were patrolling at 74th Street. So let's read this. So when did this happen? Yeah, because before this incident, I saw videos on Instagram even before what happened on Thursday. So here we go. A 15-year-old teenager was injured. This was a 34th Street Hudson Yards bound 7 train. The teenager fell and struck his head as the train was entering the 111th Street above Roosevelt Avenue in Corona at 6:30 p.m. Thursday evening. And let me make sure I got the date right here. Hopefully this will pull up. Here we go. Yeah, June 23rd. So we did have a service suspension due to this incident. The boy was taken to Elmhurst Hospital Center. So, again, you know, I've seen people, especially when I've seen this recently, when there was somebody riding between cars from 111th Street to, right, this was Metzwold's Point. These people have no regard for their safety, no consideration for others, because then you're a knucklehead who basically impacts service for everybody who's literally on tight schedules. You know, not just me, but what about essential workers who have to clock in at a reasonable time and their supervisors wondering where they are? Alright? Sorry for using an insult, but, you know, these kids have got to learn. Right? You don't know what it's like being us adults. You know? Being a decent, responsible person in society. Okay. So another incident we're going to get into, and this was brought up by Laura Uhl. passenger killed after driver loses control on the Clearview Expressway. So this happened on Wednesday because I was made aware of it by Joy Junk. So let's read this. So officers from the 111 precinct responded to a 911 call of a single motor vehicle collision just after 3 a.m. in the vicinity of the Clearview Expressway and the LIE Exit 4 and found a 2006 Dodge Charger just off the highway with 3 injured men inside. EMS responded to the scene and rushed the driver and a 26-year-old man to North Shore University Hospital, Northwell, Manhasset in stable condition. So, you gotta remember, they have a very good trauma sensor over there. EMS also transported the front seat passenger, a 30-year-old man, and a 24-year-old man who was the passenger in the back seat to Booth Memorial Medical Center in Flushing, where the front seat passenger was pronounced dead, according to authorities. The backseat passenger remained in stable condition still at Booth Memorial Medical Center in Flushing. So here we go. The Highway Collision Investigation Squad determined that the Charger was traveling southbound as the driver was navigating the approach to Exit 4 for the LIE, where he struck a guardrail crossing the vehicle to leave the roadway, entered a wooden area, and slammed into a tree. There were no other injuries or vehicles involved in the crash. So, my God, that was very unfortunate. I mean, you really got to be careful, you know? So let's get into this next one. Another important story. So we have a cyclist killed on the Cross Island Parkway bike path in Bayside. So here we go. Heeshan Lil of 35th Avenue fell off his bike and struck his head while riding on the bike path along Little Neck Bay. So this was right by Cross Island Parkway near Taunton Road on Thursday, June 23rd. Yes, okay. The cyclist was lying on the Cross Island Parkway path near Taunton Road just before 7:30 p.m. with severe head trauma. EMS responded to the scene and rushed Lynn to North Shore University Hospital, Northwell, Manhasset, where he was pronounced dead. So, we know that the Highway District Collision Squad determined that Lynn was riding a GMC Denali Road Series bike northbound when he failed to properly navigate the pathway just south of Taunton Road when he fell to the pavement and struck his head on the roadway. Okay, that sounds a little bit suspicious. Was he even wearing a helmet? Yeah, this kind of sounds suspicious. I'm sorry. You know, I'm just asking myself questions and answers at this point. Okay, so let me read a couple more articles. I just want to organize these because I don't want to make this video too long. Because I have to get ready for the MTA committee meetings tomorrow. Let's see what else I'm going to read. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Yes, let me see what I'm going to do. I don't want to read the execution. No, not going to read that. The triple homicide's more of an important priority. So let's read that. Because I'm losing my patience tonight. So let's read the triple homicide. Because I think that takes more precedence right now. Triple homicide. And this is the first I'm hearing about this. And no surprise, this is Jamaica, because Channel 1 loves to ignore them. Yeah, so I'm not even going to read the Ozone Park one, because as I said, I'm literally losing my patience tonight with Channel 1. Because we do have to criticize their In the Paper segment before we wrap up this video. Which we always do, so that segment's coming up. Here we go. Triple homicide on Friday afternoon, June 24th. This happened at a private home in South Jamaica on 155th Street just after 2 p.m. Officers on the 113th Precinct responded to a 911 call regarding an aided female. A 22-year-old woman was found unconscious and laying on the bed in the second floor of the home with an apparent trauma to her body. A further search of the house led to the discovery by detectives of a 55-year-old woman with multiple stab wounds to her body and an unidentified man with severe head trauma, both found in the basement. I mean, really, how could Channel 1 miss this? Really? This should have been the top story if there was no decision on Roe versus Wade. So, of course, pending family notification, police have to withhold the identity of the victims. So, okay, here's something interesting. No weapons recovered, but however, there is a person of interest taken. Okay, so there is some good news at least on that. But, I mean, this is just so unfortunate. And then let's read this, because this is a transit crime. So let's see where this happened. I guess this is the real reason why Transit District 20 was at Jackson Heights. Yep. Think about it. It's a major hub. The M and the R line stopped there. Makes sense. So this happened on Friday evening. When did this happen? Yeah, it happened on June 17th. Yeah, so this was published on the 20th. Come on, microphone. Stop doing that to me. Thank you. So here we go. This incident happened on Friday, June 17th. What time did this happen? They don't even tell you what time this happened. I mean, really. Okay, so here we go. Police in the 110 precinct in Elmhurst in Transit District 20 are looking for a degenerate who was jumping the turnstile when he came up behind a 36-year-old victim and grabbed her buttocks. The man ran off in an unknown direction and the victim was not physically injured. So let's see what we got here. Let's see. Yep. Oh, yeah. They definitely got him. They definitely got him. Yep. Right there. Right on camera. You could clearly tell he did it. You could clearly tell he did it. Let's see if she reacted. That's what I want to see. Oh boy, she got pissed off easily. I could tell. So, they got a good look of him. Let's see. We have a suspect description. Okay, we do. The NYPD released surveillance video of the suspect as he casually made his way through the turnstile. They are looking for a 35-year-old male, approximately 5'9", 170 pounds, black, athletic build, black hair, brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a green baseball hat, a white tank top, blue shorts, and an orange backpack. So they definitely got a good image of him. They know who they're looking for. So again, that explains why the police have been very proactive at Jackson Heights, and I even saw some cops in Flushing. So if that doesn't tell you what's going on here, then I don't know. Because let's just refresh Channel 1's page one more time. And we're going to wrap this up by criticizing the In the Paper segment. So let's watch In the Papers, shall we?
Okay, it is time to take a look at some of what's in the papers on this Sunday, and almost all of the papers have follow-ups to the Supreme Court ruling overturning Roe.
No surprise!
Yeah, we'll start with the Daily News. Here is the front page. Hard right turn, the headline this morning, referring to the more conservative Supreme Court that struck.
Oh, look at this! Look what made the front page of the Daily News! What we just read in Jamaica! Look at that! Let's see if they bring it up. Let's see. Are they going to bring it up? Are they going to bring it up? No, they just go right to the front page of the New York Post.
I feel at a loss for words and a loss for options about.
You really cannot make this stuff
up. Check out
up
the
with
New York
Spectrum.
Post, their front page also leading with that, saying
Really?
Uncivil War. The main headline in the paper this morning referring to the growing rift in politics and society over abortion. Pro-choice and pro-life rallies.
Go to the front page now of the
New
Times.
York
The abortion
Times.
Headline, in this paper this morning, nation faces changed abortion. 205 anti-abortion laws across the country, more than in the
I mean,
entire
it's so obvious what
as a
they're gearing
bastion
to.
of abortion
It's
rights.
so obvious.
Crisis of abortion rights, crisis pregnancy centers have existed in New York for years. Critics say the center that abortions can cause cancer and other health claims that have been medically unproven.
In the real estate section of the Times, meantime, the paper...
Oh, look at this. They're just going to go right to the hobbies. I mean, really. Really. Just fast forward this. I'm just going to fast forward this. I'm just going to fast forward this. I mean, really. Talking about politics. I'm done here. I don't even want to watch the rest of this joke video. Alright? So this is what we're battling against. We're battling against a corrupt media as usual. This is what we have to deal with now. We're in the battle of fight to save our media. I understand that abortion rights were taken away. Gay rights could be next too. But we have a battle to take back our media. Tell our media, start covering the crime again. We need to know what's going on. And especially because the 2 accidents that happened in Queens, very fatal accidents, we weren't told about them. It's time to speak up and tell the media enough is enough. Start covering our local news. Because we are sick of this already. So that's it.